All right. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Small Lake City Podcast. I'm your host, Erik Nilsson, and here we are on episode number 21, Blackjack. Now, our guest this week is probably one of the most eccentric people I've had on the podcast, or maybe even met in my life, and especially in the Salt Lake area. His name is Scott Paul. And if you've heard of him, you know of his eccentric attitude, his love for wigs and wearing things that make people start a little bit, but one of the nicest people with the best hearts in the world. He's someone who's supported so much of our community, and not just in the technology community, but all sorts of entrepreneurs and communities that he's built along the way. Has been a multi-time founder. He actually had a startup that was acquired by Disney, which led him to go work at Disney for a time until he found his way back to the Salt Lake City area, where he is now working on another startup called Fee Health, which he would argue is not much of a startup, but rather a religion he is starting to help us all live longer and or potentially forever with the help of AI. So it's a very interesting concept, fun to hear about and fun to see how much it's even grown. But yeah, let's sit down with him, and I hope you guys are watching on YouTube, because if you are, you're in for a treat, because we may or may not be recording in wigs. So you have something to look forward to there. But let's hear from Scott and his great story and how much he's helping the community today, and hopefully you can get a glimpse of how amazing of a person that he is. So let's go hear from me and Scott's conversation. Enjoy. Sound-wise.
So, yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, that should be good. Okay. Before we get started, though.
Thank you.
There we go.
That's excellent.
Okay, first order of business.
Yeah, first order of business.
Second order of business, and you may have forgotten, I originally reached out.
Oh
I
my
said
gosh.
we should record this in wigs.
Yeah, of course we're doing that.
Of course we're doing that.
Yeah, damn. Oh my gosh. I should have brought one of my officials, but this is better than anything I could have brought.
Please, take it with you.
I don't have a. I don't.
Wig, you sue wig.
That's the first time everyone's giving me wig, Sue wig. That's good. I'm gonna actually start using that. All right, we're doing this.
It's time to fully make wigs, just completely and socially.
It's just like once Rogan's always in a wig, then we've done it. We arrived.
You knew, bro. You're just behind the times. Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh,
here we go. Now this is even better. We got a glass of wine in our hands. Wigs on our heads.
Oh, wow. I'm liking this. I do not have this color yet either.
Oh, it really brings out your eyes.
Well, thank you. Yeah, look at that.
No, that's not good enough.
One of the girls with their combs to come style us.
Bring a wig when you bring a...
You already got your dashing hair. You don't even need wigs, but... It's like that laser. It's like one of those laser rooms.
Oh, that's way more low tech. Okay, the wigs are on.
Damn, I'm gonna see.
Let's
see what wig style I want to do. Side face one.
Decisions.
I don't want to do a part. Where do I want my part to be? Jared Leto part.
So many decisions when your hair gets longer.
Right. Never had to deal with that for so long.
It is an interesting one when it comes back to your life. But while you're doing that, so
I love that.
It's so funny because like one thing I've been opening up with a lot is like I feel like the podcast name is Small Lake City, and in turn I have all these Small Lake City moments. And so, for example,
I feel weird to be shuffling wig hair out of your face.
It's weird to have it be so like thick in the front.
So beautiful.
So beautiful. So majestic. So us.
That's crazy.
Look at you.
I'm doing it. My first purple, honestly.
I mean, I think it's like the first step in the right direction towards your like anime roots. You're like
One straight down, so I'm like just kind of feeling it.
it's a little angsty.
Put it a little away. All right, baby. What are we talking
There we go. But it's so funny because like I reached out to you because I remember when I was first putting my list together, I was like, Scott Paul would be a fucking character to have and succeed greatly. And then so I reached out to you, you're like, yeah, it could be fine, whatever. And it was like kind of like Thanksgiving time and just like back and forth. And then until like you responded again, you're like, what are we talking about again? I'm like, I'll go like energy elsewhere for a minute.
Yeah.
Fast forward to when I was recording with Julian, I go downstairs to wait for him, and it's funny because he texted me the day of. He's like, "Hey, I can't do an hour and a half. I can only do an hour."
Yeah.
It's like, okay. And then he's like, "I'm running late." Okay. I went to the wrong place. I'll be there in 5. Okay. So he gets there, and I'm just kind of like tapping my foot, like I want to get everything. Don't want to feel like it's like a waste of both of our times. Anyway. So and then I'm sitting there tapping my foot, and I look over and I see you, and I'm like. Of course, Scott's here at the time where, like, ideally would love to be like, oh, Scott, hey, like, good to see you in person.
And then
like,
I see Julie and I hold you up more.
Well, it was funny because, so then you go upstairs with your friends to, like, the jazz room, and you're sitting there, and then Julian and me walk by, and you're like, Julian, what's up, man? How's it going? I'm like, of course they know each other, you know? And then lo and behold, like, you're sitting there, and, like, you were really nice. You're just like, oh, it's so good to see you. Like, just, like, nice to meet you. I'm like, and I didn't want to be like, we've been messaging.
I know.
And then.
But you were super kind and messaged me right after and then said, let's do this. And it was perfect.
Yeah. So I saw him there, and then he mentioned that you'd been involved with, Cirque and, like, Discreet before. Yeah. And he told me about the Cirque.
Might have been his first investor in Discreet or second. I was very early, and he was my first investment.
Interesting.
At first ever angel investment, 2000. It was the day after my daughter was born. So I know the day exactly. It was March 24th, 2015.
Both your as long as you remember that day, not as much as your daughter's birthday.
Yeah.
Honey, when were you born again? So there's the day I signed with Julian. The day before that must have been.
The reason it's so memorable is my first check ever as an investor, and then he came to the hospital. So I went down from the room to deliver this check for $100,000. After delivering a baby, I was just like, oh my gosh, little did I know. In fact, I need to weigh in on that whole event because my wife's like, what is he doing? We're writing checks. We just sold our company now. We're writing all our money away to ski companies, and I just had a baby. And I realized I sometimes I reflect on the life she's lived. I'm like, yeah, she must have been like wondering all along, like, how is this ever going to work out?
You live some, you'll learn some. But I feel like she's probably good at least about like reminding you, be like, hey, remember that one time you invested in that one company?
She's good.
What's going on?
She's good. Well, she's finally realized that like investing, her family was teachers, at school teachers, so they risk adverse, right? Very risk adverse. It was all about the pension and stuff, and so like my lifestyle for her and her family was just like, it was just. I can hear the stories if it didn't work out of like what they would have said about me. Luckily, I got lucky and one of them worked out. Yeah. And so all the stories of why you become a school teacher I think it was one of those where it just didn't make sense, and they're still trying to figure out if I'm in like drug dealing or they don't. They
so
don't
are you money laundering? What is going on?
Now with the AI, they're like, what is he? He's building what with like the AI is really fun to explain to boomers.
Eyes glaze over. And just lost instantly.
Well, and it's like, we don't know if we can do what we want to do as a company, so we're going to become a religion. And then as I literally just came from a meeting where I had explained why we might have to become a religion to do what we're trying to do with AI. And it was like, even this guy is just like, he's a professional coach for people. And he's like, but he's a boomer. And it's like, so it's a little bit hard for them they're trying to understand what that all means and stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, well, this is the world we're in right now. I don't know. Yeah. AI, we got to do something before it takes over everything.
Yeah. We're all here. Not everybody knows what's going on, but we're here and we're moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, so totally want to start kind of at the beginning, honestly, because when I was telling someone, they're like, oh, who are you interviewing today? I was like, oh, his name's Scott Paul. Have you heard of him? They're like, no, not really. They're like, what does he do? And I was like,
that's exactly.
Yes. That's
what I try explaining to my parents-in-law.
Yeah. Swimming in ponds, one wheels, wigs.
Not many people know how I make money, and that's because I often don't make money.
Jokes on them.
Like, so what does he do for a living? I don't know. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't have a living. He just lives.
Exactly. But yeah, totally just want to hear, your story from, kind of beginning to end, kind of hear about how you got to Utah, what you'd currently do in Utah, and then what you see in the future. But because I know you're a California.
I love Small Lake. I love the podcast idea because it's just kind of, it's Utah flavor.
Oh yeah.
And that's good because that's one of my jobs that doesn't make money right now for me is a Utah-focused venture fund. Yeah. So I have the same love for this place and backing the Utah thing. So you're capturing Utah stories, just OG original stories.
So many cool stories right now. Like Blake Motorzitsky, his episode launches on Friday. It talks about his part of my children's investment and
Yeah.
some of like all the stuff he's, been part of and working on. I'm trying to think who else. Obviously Julian. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming up.
I'm always more interested in I get on these podcasts and people always ask me the questions, but I'm like, how do you commit to doing the podcast? To me, it's a lot of work
Totally
to get up there and I've resulted to just doing email newsletters because that's like the max attention I can give something. As one paragraph a day, I try to send something out at 4:20 every single day.
That's funny. I didn't notice it was at 4:20 until because I was eating dinner because I subscribed to your Substack, and I was like sitting there eating dinner. I was like, and then whoop, here it is. Like,
every day at 4:20, I send it out with the scheduler so that it hits. It's just the 4:20 news, and it's been really hard. Like I've only done it for 2 weeks. I'm already like, how am I going to keep going?
Yeah.
And so podcasts. So I'm just saying, congrats on the taking the action to make art.
Thank you.
Because that's what it is. Podcasts are art. Writing is art. Drawing is art. Most things are art if you really think about it.
Yeah. Once you understand something enough, you can see the artistry in it.
Yeah.
I was talking to his name's Howard Lyon, and he's done a lot of the artwork for Brandon Sanderson books, done a lot of Magic the Gathering art, Dungeons and Dragons, hardcore artist, but like the most hardcore nerd at the same time. We just nerd out about nerddom. But he was talking about how creativity, like how some people are like, oh, I can't draw, I can't paint, I'm not an artist. I'm like, no. We all have like our own artistry. It just doesn't have to necessarily be like a traditional art.
That's exactly what I've been trying to teach my kids and stuff. I think the way my daughter plays video games is artistic.
Yeah.
It's like I've watched her and it's like she's learned so much from it. And it's like there's careers in that. And there's also, you can make art on Twitch. It's like so I just try to figure out, because people generally can be passionate about art and sometimes it's hard to be passionate about work. So I try to figure out how to make work art so that you can become a crafts person in that line of work by being an artist. And so everything's art. And when you really look at it, venture capital's art for sure. Totally. There's an artistry to it. And Blake's one of the founders here in Utah. He's a long-term master artist of venture capital.
Yeah, he's like I'm trying to think of a good example. Almost like the Gandalf. That's just like, I've been here through it all. I was there with Bilbo. I've seen Frodo.
Yep, he's been through it all. We call him the mod father.
The mod father.
Yeah,
that's perfect, and it fits him so well.
Yeah,
because like I feel like Blake, like obviously like very like stoic, like bald individual, but I feel like if he just like turns an eyebrow on you, he could instantly become the villain. You're like, never mind. I get it.
I
Sorry.
haven't seen him in villain mode, but I want to someday.
Scott,
I put my wigs on him though. I made him wear a wig and a lab coat one time when we pitched him our company.
0% surprised.
Yeah, it was fun. I'll have to get that photo for you after. What else happened? And then you got Julian on here, who's a great guy. So I love that. I love the people you've put on here.
Yeah, we've got a lot of really good people. So we thought we'd want you to join the crew.
Yeah. What got me to Utah? I came here. My dad's a ski bum. I was born in Park City, Utah.
Okay.
But I don't remember it because we moved pretty soon. My dad went to school at Purdue. So that took us out of the state. And then my memories started getting built when I was maybe 3 or 4, and we moved to California. And so most of my childhood was in California that I remember. But my dad wanted to be a ski bum again eventually when we became teenagers. And that brought us to Utah so that we could go to Snowbird, which was kind of the ski hill of choice in 94 when we moved out here.
Prime time.
And so that was what got me out here again, and then never really left outside of doing a Mormon mission in Italy, and then a quick stint in LA when Disney bought a marketing agency that I was a part of. And so I went out there to Culver City for a year.
Because it's so funny to see like some entrepreneurs, because some entrepreneurs are like, oh, cool, like I've learned enough. I finally am going to like get in the driver's seat and do my own thing. Mm-hmm. But you've been an entrepreneur since like, I think you could even like pronounce the word.
I was in high school. Yeah. Here I went to high school here in Utah in Lone Peak, and I I started a business selling emergency supplies and food storage.
Thriving in Utah County.
Right before Y2K. It was a great time. Everyone was afraid of Y2K. And I'm like, I'm going to capitalize on this. So
you're like, suckers, come selling lemonade. No, I'm selling.
Yeah. So in school, I took my last year off, senior year off, so that I could run my business and go to UVSC at the time, now UVU. And I was making, I didn't realize like the normal wage of an adult at that time, but I was making an adult's wage, like some, a 40-year-old, like what like a good salary would be. I was clocking 4,000 or 5,000 a month, and 98, 99, and I didn't even know what to do with money. I had my house uncovered. It was actually not a great thing because I made too much money, and I started putting it all back in the business. And I made some really bad calls on like certain trade shows and certain products to carry because I should have just started buying stuff for myself because I didn't know what to do with money back then. Really, I had to invest it. But yeah, I was entrepreneuring really young, and but I did do the hard knocks. I got it back from my Mormon mission in Italy, and I'm like, I gotta go play it safe and make some real money. And so I went and watched other people do business for almost 10 years, I think I was, or maybe I'll just call it 8 years. I was working at other businesses, startups mostly, and just watching, like, really, I was really attentive to business models and how people were managing and leading these companies. And I just took notes and said, when I run a company someday, it wasn't like I really want to run a company. It was like, I'm going to do it again. Yeah.
It's like you're already identified as that person. You're like, when this happens, not like, well, maybe, hopefully, kind of, maybe.
No, it was always just saving up the money I was making from my day job so that I could be my own angel investor. So I could take time off and invest in myself. And that one came around 2010 is when the iPad came out, and I started side hustling a enclosure for it.
Because I love this story. Because at first because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, so you're going to hotels.
Yeah.
And you're like,
selling to hotels.
Yeah, because you're like, hey, we got these iPads, going to be this experience,
this app that's going to be awesome, and it's going to do all these things. It's going to replace your brochure rack over there that's, waste paper. Yeah. I'm going to make an interactive guide to the city and everything. And I started building that software, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a grind. And I had someone make me a little metal cage with his machine so that I could show how the iPad could be, secured in the lobby. And everyone wanted that. And they're like,
cool. Software, iPad, whatever. But where can I get this case?
Yeah, they wanted the case to do other, show off their rooms and show off their, whatever the hotel wanted. They're like, it would be nice to use this iPad in our lobby for our own needs. Yeah. I'm like, also a metal cage, and that was the first product. It was called Full Metal Jacket, and it was a badass stainless steel locking cage, and sold millions of dollars. That stupid cage.
It's always like this. It's always the stupidest thing.
It was the first product. It was just it hit right. It became the standard for at least 4 or 5 years of what you would put your iPad in to make it secure. So it was just get lucky.
Ahead of the game.
Yeah.
So that happens, and you sell it to some, was it Armor or something? I can't remember the name, but you sold that one.
Yeah. It became Armor Active, and I sold it to a company called MTI. But yeah.
Are they still selling them?
It's been 10 years next year since I sold it, and I do believe that almost the entire company is gone at this point. Now you got me wondering.
You're like, wait a minute, can I buy one of these?
Yeah, should I go? I'm going to Google and see if there's any way to do that. But what happened is China was coming in pretty fast, and they pretty much took all that over.
You see the writing on the wall.
Yeah,
like Amazon duplicates, China fakes, and
there's a lot of things. So it looks like there's some access to this. Yeah. There
we go. And Scott Paul relic.
Wow. I mean, I don't even know who, it's just like, I would just always be on Amazon. I don't know who buys stuff anywhere but Amazon. I see stuff on ads in Instagram, and I'm like, why would I buy on Instagram when I'm going to go see on Amazon get it in a day, see if it has good reviews. So I don't know if I think the trick is whoever's doing well with iPad cases probably figure out the Amazon game.
True.
Which at the time in 2014 wasn't quite there for B2B purchases.
I think that was the year I got my first like Prime membership.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Started back then. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I just don't think we would have survived unless we really pivoted to Amazon.
Yeah. So after cases, is this when you start to transition more to like software and that side of things?
Yeah, because the iPad, I was around the iPad so much, and I originally wanted to do that software product. So I was like, man, let's make apps for this thing. And it was a company, it was actually that Sunglass Hut that you see. Their main brand was Luxottica that owns them, and they wanted to make a kiosk that you could try on different eyeglasses and then kind of take photos of your kind of compare and contrast and see them. Yeah. And so they were kind of asking us how we could help them do that with the hardware. And if we knew any software companies that did that. I'm like, and my mind just got fixated on this idea of taking several different photos and putting it out to vote. And this, I'm going to like let this be a lesson to people. I thought it was the best damn idea in the world. I'm going to make this app that allows people to take several photos and then get votes on them. And nothing could tell me I was wrong. I was just blinded by like, we need to have a social network based on which. That was like my whole pitch was like, we know, Twitter does this, Instagram does this, and this is in 2011, 12. So it was very early. And I'm like, there should be so it was called Voto, VOTO. It was voting on photos. And it was really well designed. It was an awesome app, honestly. And then I had a friend of mine, she helped me market it, and she was a partner of mine. And she did so well that we had tons of influencers that we got really early on Instagram. We found influencers to shout out the app and pay them on PayPal.
And this is like way before influencing.
Influencers are not a thing yet. Instagram's 2012. Instagram's just kind of making its rounds.
Yeah.
So we build up this list of tons of influencers that would help us with our app. And I honestly, I stayed way too long thinking I could brute force this app to become something popular. I didn't even ask the question of how am I going to get money from it. I just need as many users, and then someone will give me money.
People want to vote on people's photos, and I want people to vote on my photos.
I just got stuck in this loop, and $250,000 later of my hard-earned cash, and I hadn't sold my first company this time. So that's all my money.
Yeah,
that's all the money I've made in my company. I gave back to making this tech, and it didn't ever make more than maybe $6,000 of in-app purchases. And so it's just like, all right, we got to stop. Told the tech team to let's shut it down. Yeah, let's not shut it down, but put on cruise control. I can't do it anymore. But what we learned was that you could pay influencers to post almost anything. And then we started doing that for other apps. My partner, Nikhil, she started taking on some clients, and then we got a really big one that ended up being a dating app that ended up turning into Bumble eventually. And so we helped this big dating app out of the UK, and that funded basically a new company that we abandoned Voto, started Instafluence, and within 2 years of even starting that, we were in talks with Disney to sell it, and so they bought it eventually to have. So right after I sold Armor Active in 14-15, Disney bought bought Instafluence, and they added that into their team of people that were doing YouTube and everything. So we became part of Disney's social team.
What was that like? I mean, you go from
that was my favorite.
Starting all of you've done all these things, you've been really entrepreneurial. Mm-hmm. I mean,
and then
all of a sudden it's all right, we're going to throw you into one of the biggest companies in the U.S. and make you VP of.
I had
social.
to move, and I became VP of product, and I'm over at Disney. And I've never worked for a company bigger than my own of 30 people, so I'm like, all right, got to learn how to do this stuff. And do I sit in a chair? Do I just clock? I didn't really know even what companies do, but it was a good year. The whole family came out. We lived right in Culver City, and just got to see how that type of world works. And it's a machine. I mean, Disney's a machine. They didn't even end up doing anything with our company after 2 years or so. Disney was quite the ride, and I had young girls at the time, 10 and 8 and 1. And so I got to take them to Disneyland on the weekly, and I think I became a legendary dad.
Oh, you guys had a bad day at school? Should we go to Disneyland again?
Every day if we wanted to. And like, my dad works for Disney. That was like, it's just like, and ironically, they don't care about Disney that much. Yeah. My girls are never like princessy girls, but
I feel like they're more of like a Crunchyroll vibe now.
Oh, they are 100% Crunchyroll. Funny, you know that. Yeah. I'm almost done with Vinland Saga with my 15-year-old. It's this really cool anime about the Danes and the Norse like battles over in England around 10,000, whatever that is, or 1,000 AD or whatever. It's such a good anime off of Crunchyroll that we watch. It might even be on Netflix, honestly. It's so good.
So as you know, like Attack on Titan just ended. And so I just started it back over again.
How are you doing that?
Because I got to because after because you guys, you know, like the last 4 episodes, like we're so spread apart. Where every time you're like, I can't even remember what's going on.
It's hard. Yeah, my same daughter is so into that one and knows it really well. And so I have to have her there to get reference. Okay, who's this again? Who's this again? Yeah, she's really good. She knows the story so well. Her mind thinks in like anime format. So she's read the manga. She's got it all down. So we went to Japan for 2 months this year, and we stayed in Kyushu, the southern island, has a little city in the middle called Hita, which is where our boy that wrote Asagi. No, he's not Asagi. I forget his name now. The author of the one that wrote Attack on Titan. He's from this little town, and it's so cool to go there. We road trip there from where we were staying to go see like what inspired him, and the whole town's got Attack on Titan statues, and they have this amazing thing, this big wall, and that wall is where
is it made of colossal titans?
That's where he got the inspiration. It's a big dam. And they put a statue out below of of Aaron and Arwen and Mikasa.
Mikasa, come in.
And they put the statue there, and it was so cool. It looks like they're looking up at this dam, which is the wall.
This is like the most Scott Paul moment ever. We're recording, wine in hand, wig on head, ceviche to the side.
This is actually really normal for me too, which is funny.
Oh man, that is a memory.
Let me put some shrimp in my mouth.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Money. Oh man. So you're in LA, you're working at Disney, and then I mean, how long are you there for? Because I know you eventually make your way back to Salt Lake. Utah in general.
Yeah, I left my house here so I could come back to it.
Makes sense.
I didn't sell it. Came back to it in a year. My family couldn't really hack Culver City for the long term. Utah's so good.
So good.
It's such a good vibe for like young kids. And it's just so much activity you can do like out there in the wilderness. So we came back. We spent a hot minute in Sandy, Utah, and then we found a little ranch up in Heber, and we moved up there and tried to be farmers. So we got goats and sheep and all this stuff. And then I realized that that's way not worth it.
It's so much work.
It's like I'm not slaughtering and eating these animals, so they're basically just pets.
Yeah.
And I have way too many of them, and they kept multiplying. Yeah. So the sheep.
I thought there's only 4 of you.
Yeah, there were 4 sheep to start, and they were about 11 before I turned them into tacos. And I don't know that if they're tacos, but I'm pretty sure the guy that came pick them up was going to make tacos with them, because I don't think he needs 11 ornamental sheep. He's going to do something with those guys.
He's like, come down to my restaurant.
Yeah,
you might.
He was in Ogden. He was in Ogden. I'm sure he had a Taco Birria, franchise somewhere up there that he's making some really nice sheep tacos or whatever. What are they? Lamb tacos. So that's where they're at now. God rest their souls.
Yeah.
But that's where all sheep go anyway. Eventually, unless they're wool sheep.
Seriously, and then just get shaved.
Yeah, so I shaved him a few times. That was fun. It was an adventure. That they kind of got me through COVID, though. That was fun to have the sheep during COVID.
Just go sit in the herd. Just, hey guys,
I would. I'd go meditate in the herd, do Facebook Live sometimes, and just have the sheep wouldn't come up to me, but one of the goats, Jake, he's still around. He's really nice. He'll come up to me.
He's like, I'm kind of worried about this guy. I'm just gonna make sure everything's going okay in here. Yeah, just a little nibble here and there. Leader. Oh man, no, that's fun. Yeah, because I lived up in Oakley for a little bit, and that was, the place I was living had like 35 horses, like 4 goats, like in just very bit. And like born and raised Salt Lake City, Utah, like never had and I'm allergic to horses. So it's not like I was like this horse person growing up. So all of a sudden I'm like, all right, there's a lot of going on here. I'm going to take my allergy medicine and we're going to go do some work. And it was fun for a little bit, but yeah, I'm with you. It's so much work.
Maybe later, or maybe if I have ridiculous amounts of money, I'll have a ranch hand help.
Yeah.
All my neighbors have basically retired they have horses, and some of them have ranch hands to kind of help.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'll go to these HOA meetings, and I'm 25 years younger than everyone. I'm just like hearing about all the problems they're dealing with. I'm like, guys, I don't have time to think about these things right now. I'm still like trying. I'm not. They're like the true retired people.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll ever retire. Like this age is like retirement means like work's kind of fun for a lot of people, or like they're doing their passion, they're making money with whatever their passion is. So I don't know if we'll retire in the same way the generations before us did, but these guys are like truly retired, like laid back. They aren't doing anything. And I'm like, that's kind of nice. But you got to expect, you got to understand, like I've got 3 kids, animals that I don't know what I'm doing with. I've got, I don't know how many startups that are on my mind that it's just like
our problems are very different.
The problems are very different. I am not like a neighbor that can understand and be here with you when you're having a hard time with your, the color of your fence being a violation of the HOA policies. Like that's just not computing right now for me.
Totally. But I mean, it's such a pretty area that it's been fun to see how much it's grown.
Oh yeah.
And so I feel like everybody knows that's up there.
Resort up there now.
I know. Mayflower's going. I mean, that'll be live so soon and everything else. Let's see. So if you're up there, then...
Do you want a chip when you're ready?
Ooh, I will take a chip in a second. I do like the ceviche.
Oh, you had this one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've pretty much had everying. It's so good, though. All their food's good. They just have a new restaurant downstairs, too.
12 hours a day. You're going to do everything.
Honestly. So at what point does, like, Woolly come into the picture?
I built that when I was at Disney.
Oh, okay. So you're working on where you're... Oh, so was that, like, the product itself that you're kind of, like, working on? You're like, well...
Yeah.
Going back to Utah, I'm just going to make this mine.
Well, I didn't have a real non-compete, and I'm an entrepreneur, so Disney didn't really need me once they bought the company. They don't really have like a program for the entrepreneurs out there, and so both me and my partner were pretty much gone after our earn out.
Yeah.
So I was out there. I just started tinkering and found a CTO to start building Woolly. I thought Woolly would be the answer to what I thought was kind of I thought the influencer thing was going to transition more into authentic ambassadors and less about just influencers with big following. I got that completely wrong. Influencers are influencers. They'll always be. They're going to have a big, massive following, and then they're always going to be offered opportunities to shout out some company or get equity in some company. Yeah. And so my guess was I was right at that ambassadorship type of, like smaller accounts that want to just kind of really get behind a brand. That works too. And so that's what Woolly kind of does, is helps you manage the fans, the
your most like loyal customers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, help them get back. Because it's interesting. Like another small like moment with this is actually, I think, let's see, so it's December 2023 right now. So this must have been a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years ago. Uh-huh. I had, oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name? He's one of the investors in Woolly.
Oh, that's how I know him.
Oh, that's so fun. Randall Lloyd.
Randall Lloyd.
So
Randall Lloyd.
So
I've not seen him for a while.
So he was in my same fraternity, and then he saw me post something. He's like, "Hey, I'm a technology investor, revenue because I would work in revenue operations." He's like, "Very big thing. We have a couple companies. Maybe there's a good fit. Maybe there's not. Let's go get food and chat." So we went to the Vessel on 9th and 9th. So he's like, "Hey, it could be good." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, have a call with Kyle." And we'll see kind of like where it goes from there. And like at this time is when I started like my van life journey. And so I was like, as much as I like want to like focus on like corporate America and having a job, I really just want to go travel and keep chaos to a minimum if I can.
And the thing with a van life is financially, most people could do that indefinitely, but I think why aren't you doing it right now?
I mean, most of it's like you definitely get lonely.
You get lonely. And
especially like this summer. So when I came back last October, and then like this summer was my first summer back, and like a lot of my older friends, we kind of reconnected over golf a ton. So we were seeing each other. Like I went to go from seeing like some of my friends from high school like once every year, every 2 years, to seeing them like 3 or 4 times a week. And so like that kept me here a lot, realizing like I mean, you can always go spend time in like the fun places and travel all the
I
time.
always have the van.
Yeah, but at the same time, like you have to like set up life and shop somewhere, and like there's other things I have to do, and you can't just kind of run away from it all. But I mean, I'd love to go do like a 1 or 2 month spin.
I still have a van aspiration. Probably not in the U.S. If I do van life, I feel like it would take me to Europe or maybe like New Zealand or something.
No,
or
totally.
Australia.
Yeah, the Euro trip I've seen some friends do that, and that's been really cool. New Zealand's really good for it. But I mean, yeah, a lot of other countries have like adopted it a ton more. So it's been fun to see how that trends. But yeah, I mean, I know then also, so like, cause after like the Woolly, I mean, now roster, cause then obviously you've become super involved in, crypto and now AI. I mean,
Crypto was so I got into crypto out in LA.
Makes sense.
In 15 when it was kind of low, and my friend got me into it. And then it wasn't until 17, 18, actually even just this last kind of run up where I started doing companies in crypto.
Yeah.
So for a while it was just a passion, hodl.
Just like direct investment in your crypto
direct
stuff.
investment. Then this last run, I got really involved in building community around it, and then DeFi became a rage, and I got into I helped start Giddy, and then Cryptopia, which is kind of the local event for crypto that we're hoping to do every year annually. But
cool. It's funny when I interviewed the Mod Father, he was wearing his Giddy shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. Giddy, the Giddy shirt, I gave one to a friend, one of our investors in Phi, and he was wearing it. Every time he sends us photos, he's always wearing it. He says it's like an aphrodisiac for his fiance.
That's how you sell merch.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. I gave him my shirt off my back. I'm like, I might have to get another one of those then if that's doing that. I haven't worn it quite enough, but it was the white one with a kind of this cowboy hat in the middle. They did a lot of merch when they came out. I don't know if they're doing as much now. Now they're on the product market fit. It was like, no more merch. Let's figure out how to make sure this thing's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, let's run this company now. We got the merch dialed.
And it's tough. I mean, Giddy's the only company that I'm really aware of that has really survived crypto winter.
Yeah.
Out of the batch of like sponsors and people that we had 2.5 years ago doing stuff, it's just very hard right now to kind of get additional funding. It's just everyone's eyes went to the other game.
Yeah.
What's this AI thing over here that ChatGPT did? And all the eyes just shifted. Like it's undeniable the momentum that just left crypto, went over to AI
so fast.
But it's moments like that where people take the eye off the ball because it's crypto ain't going away. AI ain't going away. So I think the companies that survive and get through this next bull run, which is kind of happening right now.
Yeah.
BTC is going up and everyone's saying it's going nuts and going to get crazier. So my advice has never been anything really different than like I made videos about crazy shit tokens and meme coins, but I never told anyone to buy any of these things.
Yeah.
All I ever really have said is I'll tell people kind of what I'm going after, but the one thing I've never relented on is dollar cost average into Bitcoin and Ethereum every week or month. Just buy a little bit. You cannot hurt anybody. Just doing a $20 a week type of thing, and just don't look at the price. Even just set something on automatic, and that's the one thing that's the one financial advice I just keep giving is a dollar cost average auto buy into Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah,
and if you can't do Ethereum, just do Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's the best thing about like crypto's like, oh, you only have $5, that works. $10, cool. $10 million, cool.
Yeah, it does work like that, luckily. Coinbase is great. Crypto.com, there's plenty of apps that just don't even, they own enough the crypto, they won't even charge you for buying it, usually. If you buy it on chain, it does cost a little bit because you're literally paying the fees to transfer, to make the miners validate that transaction. It's crazy how crypto works, but it's relatively cheap on most networks right now.
And only getting cheaper.
Yeah.
So what else are you working on? I know that you mentioned a couple new projects, AI type stuff.
Mostly just AI. Mostly just Phi, the AI health.
Yeah, tell us about this new religion.
Yeah, exactly. So the only reason this would have to become a religion is that there's things we want to do that aren't really legal.
Now you have my attention.
Yeah,
You're going to do great in Utah.
Exactly. Well, that's why we think we're here. There's a lot of good lawyers here to protect interesting financial models, and religions are the most protected thing in America.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing you can't do as a religion, and that's like how everyone's getting their cannabis, or not cannabis, they're like psilocybin. It's like religion, peyote. A lot of these drugs. And the communities around certain drugs that are maybe Schedule 1, they find ways to make a religion so that and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like it's a way to protect the sacred use of some of these drugs. And so we want to freeze people. We want to be able to let's just say you're 80 and your brain just got diagnosed with some dementia. We don't have any way to reverse that. We have a really awkward relationship with dying in this country, where we'll let someone live for 10 years in the worst state possible, and not let them check out. And so we're of the belief that we need to allow people to, upon hitting maybe a certain age where the mind is deteriorating or something, or maybe a ton of pain, whatever it is, you should have the right to. Han Solo your body into some cryo freezing of sorts. And so we're kind of trying to figure out how that's going to work. But just it's a little better than going in the ground and becoming ash. There's no real science that says we can reanimate someone from freezing, but there's also a lot of technology that's coming out that might make it more possible to reanimate or to brain transfer some of the knowledge or the DNA of that person's. Anything's better than turning people into ash.
We landed on the moon. We've done a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Why not be able to freeze people and bring them back? Yeah.
Well, and funny you say the moon. The place to actually put them would be at the dark side of the moon. It's just park them there. So that dark side of the moon should be just basically like cassette CD, like big old those CD storage. You should just go there and just slide out just people.
It operates like one of those like old disc machines at a bar where it's like you pick it and it just kind of like goes, picks it up and just like frisbees it down to earth.
That's actually a really good idea. Frisbees it down to earth. I didn't think about that. That's really convenient.
Time to meet your great grandson.
Comes in as a flying saucer. Dark side of the moon would be a great place to store people.
Yeah. I just want to see like the aliens that are coming here for peace. Like, we're so excited to meet Earth. And they'll be like, what did they do back here? Turn around.
Gosh. They've got skeletons in the closet. So we want to freeze people. And so that's one of the reasons to become a religion is to do things that you have to get a belief behind. And I think some people would freeze themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Versus even if it's immediately after passing, right? Or right before. It's like, if I can make freezing economical and or it's just even it's an option, a lot of people freeze themselves. So we got to start freezing ourselves because that's a desire we have, and so we're going to make a religion or a company and a religion to do that. The other reason it might be nice to have a religion is if we go public, the mission of Phi, the mission, Phi has one mission. It's very simple. It's we ask the AI what should we do to have a longer health span? And it pretty much told us to do the company we're doing and
start freezing humans. We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's that one. So
it's like it's on our roadmap about 5-6 years from now. We're already working on it, humans.
Exactly. So Phi keeps telling or AI keeps telling us, and to be honest, it's the ChatGPT 4. It's our favorite, and it's been telling us for a while now, and my partner Kirk's been talking to it since early access to the model in 2019 is when he first got access when he was at Snapchat.
Damn.
He got access to develop on ChatGPT or GPT 3 or whatever before they had a chat interface.
Yeah.
He built a chat interface to have discussions with it. So he's been doing this for a long time, trying to figure out how to use the AI to bring to pass the immortality of and everlasting life of the human race. Let's cut to the chase. health span sounds cute. That's a nice, that's soft way to talk about it, like a longer health span. But we're trying to figure out how to live forever.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance that AI knows how to do that.
And when you phrase it like that, definitely starts to sound like a religion.
Exactly. So there's another reason that is if we want to live forever, it's a different type of company, you know. And so we probably don't want to go public and have the shareholders and people that might have a different economic outcome desire, you know, financial, like they need it to make money. Yeah. But a religion might not have need a profit motive or something. True. So we think it might have to be a religion so that we can stay true to the mission of increase the human health span. That's the only mission Phi has. Yeah. Increase the human health span. And so we just keep asking, how do we do this? And then we do it at the personal level. So in January or February, when we launch, you're going to have an app that will be dedicated to increasing your health span based off of connecting your watch, connecting everything you have, putting any input you have, all your data from the health records, and if you have DNA tests and so it's just like feed AI everything about you, and then ask it to make you live longer. It reminds me of like that. Remember that movie with Justin Timberlake, where they have like the numbers on their arms and like only so much time? I like that. I just imagine opening up the app. It's like you have 14 years, 12 months. What was that called? It wasn't. Oh, I'm gonna look it up. It was at a time. I don't remember. It was something time, but it was a really good movie that didn't get enough accolades. I remember not having expectations and watching it and going, that was a very thoughtful movie. I had that happen the other night. I was laying in bed. A movie that was really good. Yeah, I was sitting there. So I watched, what did I watch first? I watched, oh shit, what was it? It's a classic. Oh, it was 21 Jump Street. And then I go down to bed. I'm like, I need to go to sleep. And then I turn on the TV. I was like, oh, Gran Turismo. I saw this trailer in a movie theater. Let's watch it. And I was sitting there. I was like, I was anticipating to be like, okay, I'll fall asleep in 15 minutes. And then next thing I know, I'm going to bed at 1:30 because it was better than I thought it was going to be. I recommend it, actually. And I don't recommend things I don't believe in. So where was the first time you ever rode a one wheel? I think I got one. I was at, do you know Shonduras Space Station? Yeah. They have a place up in Layton. And they had a bunch of one wheels early time. And I remember like just getting on it and seeing it. Wasn't really moved by it. The early ones are kind of dangerous. The early ones. What am I saying? They're all dangerous. They've all got problems. One wheels are so nuts. People love these things, but most people I know have had a serious injury from them, from something happening that was not their fault, like the one wheel just shuts off. Me, my brother, my other friend, it's just like, and yet we still love these things. So. The things we love the most hurt us the most. Yeah, exactly. Wow. So I've been a prosumer of one wheel for probably 3 years. Yeah. Maybe that's when I got my first one about 3 years ago. Wow. And then I bought a lot more so that I could always have people to go with. And yeah. It's like, you know how like a lot of people have like bikes hanging in their garage and it's like the 10 like held perfectly and you just go and pull it off. I just imagine going in your garage and there's like 15 one wheels. I wish oh, you want to go on a ride? Yeah, I wish they were like perfectly aligned, but they're just, there's one in my office, maybe one inside of my room. They're all over now. I need to get a system. But yeah, they in the winter it's tough because they don't hold it. They don't start if it's too cold out. Some battery protection thing. I was gonna say does that 4-wheel drive, but that doesn't really make sense. Yeah, but they're fun. They're so fun. So I got to keep some inside and heat them. So I don't do as much in the winter, but a lot in the summer. And I've got one wheel gang, where we'll go around, we'll get a stick, and we'll hit signs while we ride by them. We'll try the rascals in the neighborhood. We want to be little rascals. Maybe tap a mailbox. Not hurt it, of course, because we wouldn't do that. But no, it's just like 5 guys running around on one wheels, hitting things. Yeah. Midday, Wednesday, in a nice neighborhood, like basically our neighborhoods we live in. Like Scott, we know where you live. But I just want to go around and be a little rascal. Yeah. And why can't we? And just hit stuff. And so that's I kind of want to expand that gang a little bit. Because it's pretty harmless, but I feel like there's a lot of people hitting midlife crisis that could really use a one-wheel experience in their I think that's a perfect way to describe it. It's my pop's calling me. I don't know what he wants to say. I'm just going to not answer it. Basically, it's about skiing. Yeah. If he's calling, it's something about getting some pro form deal, where we're going skiing, It's
what Dad's for.
Things. It's like this guy has one track mind.
I need to call Scott for something.
Yeah, it's like I don't hear from him for the summer or anything, and then winter comes and skiing again.
I feel like if there's one place that if you're like, oh shit, I need to find Scott Paul, it's like I'm just gonna go to oh my gosh,
Owl Bar,
Sundance.
Sundance.
Yeah, Sundance.
Were you thinking something like that?
Yeah, I was thinking Sundance, and I was gonna say Sun Valley, and I knew that was absolutely wrong.
Oh, that's a
but
good
yeah,
place, though.
yeah, Sundance.
Sundance is close. I like that spot. It's got a good old feeling to it. It's just got that cowboy Sundance outlaw feeling.
Yeah,
and the Owl Bar is great.
The Owl Bar's great. Tree Room's great.
Wonderful place.
Because I grew up in Salt Lake, so I never really went down there. But I've had a couple of work things. I was like, wait a minute, this is great.
It's a great place to go. A good hour from you, though. What do you feel like when you're wanting? What do Salt Lakers do to kind of feel like they're at the locals bar, but kind of in the mountains? Do you go anywhere?
Ooh, kind of in the mountains. Ooh, one of my favorite places for that is Emigration Brewery in Emigration Canyon.
Never been.
So, do you know where Ruth's Diner is?
Yep.
So Ruth's Diner right there. And there's always that kind of abandoned building on like kind of if you go out of Ruth's.
I can kind of picture it, and I wish. Oh man, now that you told me that, I want to go.
It's really cool. Like, I mean, maybe I guess right now, why not? It's still pretty in the winter, but like it's right over the creek. Really good beer menu, really good food menu, amazing pretzel, good pizzas that they can also make into a calzone, which for some reason I always appreciate. Mm-hmm. And yeah, especially in the summer, the vibes are perfect. You can feel the river running past you. Just good times. So yeah, if I'm trying to get mountainy, that's where we're going.
All right.
Otherwise, we'll just send it to Park City and
try that out. Yeah, Park City's so close. You can go get such.
Especially if you're in Heber. I mean, hop on the freeway and you're pretty much there.
Yeah, it's like downtown Park City is good 25 minutes for me, but it's so worth it because that's the feeling of Park City, even though it's pretty overrun with tourists. It's still just a magical place, and the tourists kind of make it an event too.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun to have a city in your state where it's just a lot of tourism.
So much,
just because you can. You just feel that energy, just like going to Disneyland or something. There's just an energy knowing that nobody here lives at Disneyland. You guys all got to get your asses home to some hotel.
Yeah.
But while we're here, we're all having a good time. That's kind of how Park City feels like.
Totally. And the same caliber of people watching. Like You can sit there at Disneyland or Park City and be like, what is wrong? Like, interesting.
Interesting.
All right. Huh.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I like, I did find something out though that I'll share with you. There's a pub crawl, Santa pub crawl every year at Park City. And my wife and I were staying up there and just kind of tagged along with the group.
What are you guys doing? Santa pub crawl? Like, here we come.
Exactly. It was 2,000 Santa outfits. It was just so cool. So it was like probably 3-4 weeks ago. It was such a cool event. And so it's happening every year. It's like a little Facebook group.
Yeah.
So don't miss that.
Throw on your Santa costume, go crawl
Well, whatever.
around.
I think I'm going to go back because I'm going to make one of my friends Santa. I'm going to get about 12 girls to be reindeer. And then, Santa pimp. And then the reindeer girls. And I don't know what I'll be. I'll probably be a Grinch or something that's, I don't know. But I kind of want to get a whole theme going with the next. Maybe the guys can be reindeer too. So we're not just totally overdoing it. But I don't know. Something tells me that the girls would look really cute with little reindeer antlers going on, little
we can make it happen.
Whiskers on their face.
We can put together at least, let's see, that'd be 12, 15, 16 people. We can make that happen.
Yeah, I don't know how many reindeer there were again. There's Dawn, or do you recall how many there are?
I recall the most famous of them all.
Yeah.
Well, it was Rudolph.
Yep.
And someone was really kinky and named one Vixen. But besides that,
gosh.
No, I could not do that. Someone put a gun to my head.
The story of Vixen.
Yeah. It's probably the same guy that did all those like the old claymation videos for Christmas. He's like, what are we naming these ones? He's like, well, Donner and Blitzen and
Dude, they should have why did Rudolph only get the solo show? They could literally have a content for each reindeer.
Oh,
Blitzen would be crazy too.
Yeah.
That guy is hyperactive.
Just a 12-part Netflix miniseries of a profile on each deer.
Yeah.
Gives you a little bit more appreciation.
For sure. I should do that. That's easy.
There we go. Presented by
ChatGPT do it.
Oh, yeah. I always love making it write like scripts or like scenes of like different characters in different places, different things. And then like if I'm with a friend, like acting it out and just how ridiculous and ludicrous it is, but how it's also like, right? I'll be like, be Rick Sanchez on Tatooine talking to the Master Chief about taxes.
Hey, Natty, I'm on a podcast right now.
I'll let you go.
Hi, Natty.
Okay. You can text me. I'll read.
Okay.
Love you. Bye. Yeah, that's interesting. Actually, having it write out a script and then just impromptu acting the thing out or something. Maybe like a play is just like.
It's like you can make it Clue style where it's like pick the place, the person, and the object.
It's really good at doing those things, actually, like making, giving it rules and having it make a. We try to do these like at Convoy. We have this camp Convoy where all the founders, entrepreneurs go to like some random camp in Utah. Yeah, about maybe 50, 60, 70 people, and we always try to do some unique games, and we were using AI to try to create just crazy new games that no one's ever done before. Like you give it the rules of what you want, and then you have it spit out several different games with parameters, and it wants to do in large groups outside. It was really quite good. I mean, at this point, I don't know who isn't using this stuff as at least like a feedback module. Just kind of test your ideas out or see if you're missing something. Yeah,
and I mean, anytime I have to have like a list or an outline or any sort of like aggregation of like stuff, I'm like, and ChatGPT, give me this. It's like, here you go. Like even, I mean, I do like all my captions with AI. I do like AI edits all my audio. AI, like technically could write like blog posts if I wanted them to, but it's great. Like
it'll do everything.
If you're not like, you hear those posts all the time where it's like, if you're not using it, you're going to be very behind very quickly.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, at this point there's almost like, if you're not using it right now, then you're, where did I put that?
But what other projects are you working on? Anything else in the pipeline?
It's Fi all day long, every day right now. It's overkill. It's meaning it's like I haven't got so much NOS left in the engine. I'm just like, let's go Fi. So I'm putting most of the efforts there. As far as like projects that are, that take me out of my house. If I'm in my house, I'm mostly just trying to project on the cold plunges, the sauna, and I'm just trying to figure out like a routine I got this tonal, and I'm trying to like do it religiously. It's so hard for me. I'm such a social animal that I don't like working out.
I can't do at-home gym.
Yeah, and so I have one, and it's like, it just doesn't nag me enough to get up there. And so I keep committing every week. Like, this is the week. I've got an hour downtime, and somehow I'm on my phone and not at my gym, at my little gym. And I'm just like, I can get this last email done and go get 20 minutes. I can go get 10 minutes in. And so once a week I'll get, or twice a week I'll get, I'll pull like 5,000 pounds through these little handles. It's like a plugged on your wall.
Yeah, because I've seen what they are.
Yeah. So it's like really minimal. And it's really good. Today I actually really crushed it. I feel proud of myself. I went 10,000 pounds. I did a lot of squats and pulling the rope thing with the balls at the end. It's like a rope nut sack.
Yeah.
Helps a lot. I love that one. And so I'm done. I feel good. I think I did my laps today. So I feel like there's a lot of science out right now to just got to do like 20 minutes of movement a day if you want, and you'll like literally double your lifespan if you just do the movements. And the second you stop moving, you're gonna die. Yeah,
like that's one thing I realized 2 years ago is like I can't remember where I was, but I was looking around. I saw all these old people. Mm-hmm. And like a lot of them just like couldn't really move too well. And like, I'm like hunchbacked and just not very mobile. I was like, if I don't want to end up like that, I need to start stretching.
Stretching is like number one.
So I stretch for 7 minutes every day.
Okay. I love you. That's bold. See, once I know someone does it and I can see myself in them, like, yeah, we're like the same. We got the same vibe.
I can do this. You can do it.
If you can do it, I can do it. 7 minutes?
7 minutes.
That's like,
and that like takes me through like a whole body stretch, like motion. Like I'm fine. Like I'm good.
And that's going to do so much for you. Yeah. Just getting your blood going, keeping you limber. All right. I have someone come and stretch me. That's how lazy I am.
That's what I started with. I went to like Stretch Lab. Yeah. And I was like, because it was like free trial. So I go in and she's like, well, where are you feeling? I'm like, well, I get a lot of like muscle spasms in my neck and this. And she's like, okay, we'll just kind of like stretch everything. And like, it was kind of weird at first. I'm like, okay, am I really this lazy that I have to go to this place and have someone stretch me?
Really, but having someone stretch you, if you have that available at your work or something, it is so good for you. And they can stretch ways you can't, but it's like better than not stretching.
Yes.
So if you're that lazy,
it's like gateway stretching.
Get stretched. Yeah.
Because that's how I started. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I can do this alone. And like I kind of like graduated. I was like, Miyagi, I'm out of here. I must go to my own stretching now. And so that's what and I've always been pretty consistent with exercising. So if I know that I can like exercise regularly, stretch regularly, don't eat terrible.
Yeah,
Fingers
don't
crossed.
eat terrible like once in a while because it's a party, but then like make up for it. Next 4 days. That's my plan.
I don't hate it.
I went to Vegas on what is today?
The
Monday.
Yeah.
On Monday I was in. Yeah. Wait, no. What the crap? When was I down there? It doesn't matter. I was there and I gained way too much weight, and so now I'm kind of like the week after something like that. I'm like, I'm just gonna, drink wine.
I'm just gonna drink wine and eat ceviche. That's it.
That's it. That's my diet today. No, but I definitely like try to repent by like lowering the caloric intake for the week after.
Yeah,
because I have to eat horrible sometimes. There's so many fun foods out there. That's the problem. In Vegas, they're just making all sorts of ways to captivate my palate every second.
And you go to Vegas and it's like, because like I'm not the biggest drinker, I'm not the biggest gambler, but like
I'm not a gambler or drinker really,
but the food.
So that's the problem now. Is the food is the thing I go do now.
And every where you go, it's like, oh, there's a new really good restaurant. There's a new really good restaurant, and you're just like, shit, I need to go to everything and make it all happen.
They're open all the time, but Vegas become a food city. It's great. So. Phi's the main project.
That's
it's
cool.
really I can't think of anything else that really.
I guess if stretching and exercise doesn't work, I'll just freeze myself.
Yeah. So you'll probably have to freeze. I don't know if we're gonna get. How old are you?
33.
I don't know if we're gonna get our mission done in time for you.
My generation.
We might.
Millennials just perpetually get fucked. We realize we don't get houses. We get once in a lifetime crises like every other
every
5 years.
Yeah.
We don't get cool social media and like influencism.
Yeah.
We get all this debt. We don't get to have our lives saved through freezing, but sure, whatever. We'll be the guinea pigs.
No, you're going to get saved through freezing. What I want to do is beat your time clock.
Yeah.
Just like that movie we watched.
Time In is what it's called, by the way.
We could get to an infinity symbol on that. We could reach immortality where you apart from like getting blown up in the head and stuff like that. We could get to a place where your lifespan instead of you getting closer to it, it's getting farther away from you.
Yeah.
Or your life expectancy.
Well, then it's also like you throw in like the Interstellar, or like I don't know if you ever read like Ender's Game, of like time travel and relativity and like staying young.
Yeah.
Like that's another mind trip for me.
But
if we could freeze and do that, then even if you're only living like 80 years, if you put it into a couple 100-year breaks every now and then, you could theoretically live almost forever.
Oh man, it's going to get weird with this Vision Pro and stuff too. People are going to be quite literally in VR or at least AR for a while per day. I think in the next 7-8 years we're going to see wearing eyepieces as common as earbuds, right, in your ears.
Yes.
And then when that happens, we are starting to become very bionic in that. I think we're going to be melding with the machines in ways you can't imagine, because we're going to have AI powering, a lot of the heads-up display and the voice, and stuff so we're going to be able to get information really quickly. We're going to be able to learn things really fast that we need to do, shop while we're, driving, whatever it is. And I just don't know yet, like what we're supposed to do, what the world, what's going to be important when we're all, when the AirPods are basically our eyeballs and everybody's got that. I don't know. I try to project myself in the future to figure out how to either, exploit that for gain for money or to like safety. Like I want to create a future that's going to be safer than it is now. So like how my kids benefit from the technology. I can't get there right now. I can't. I probably have to get a little higher or something, but I want to know. I want to be in the future. Go, if we could just go 10 years in the future, go around to parties, look at the clubs, look at the classrooms, look at the common households. We would. I think it would be so informative. In fact, now that I just did that thought experiment, I'm going to try to do that one later, and really try to understand what's going to be around, and then reverse engineer that.
Yeah.
So
work backwards. Go
there and then work backwards. What should I be investing in? Where should I be living? What things should I be caring about? Who should I be talking to right now? I'm sure that's what some people can do, like professionally all the time. They can almost time travel like that, and that's probably like the Steve Jobs of the world, or these savants that can just they live 10 years in the future. I feel like I live 3 years in the future.
Yeah,
but as of late, I feel like future's getting so fast that I'm only about a year ahead.
it's so hard to think of and then it's like you stop paying attention for a second, you go back like, wait, this all changed in like a year.
Yeah,
seems
we're
like
not
it's been
even
like that.
adapting yet to the change. We don't even realize the change. And
It's like the speed of change is changing,
Yes.
but then people can't keep up as fast. So it's like
Yes.
this 10% that used to be ahead is now this 5%, which is slowly becoming this 1%.
Yes.
And the 99 are lost.
Yeah, it's almost we're definitely all glitching a little bit with the speed of change. I don't know what to do about it, but I think the best thing to do is acknowledge that our bodies, human beings are super evolutionary in a way that they can kind of, we've already got this far with all this crazy stuff going on. And so I think we're kind of ready for, like, I just want to be optimistic and think that, like, when I see my kids on the phone and playing Fortnite, and I'm like, you need to be outside like Mark Twain and me, and be, making forts and, killing rabbits and stuff. And then I think about it, I'm like, that's not going to serve them much. They probably should get really good, like Ender's Game. They should probably get really good at Fortnite.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's probably some real benefits. They're probably
We don't know the transferable skills, but there will be.
Yes, I think the transferable skills are going to be the things that these kids are really good at. My daughters are making TikTok. One of my daughters is a big anime influencer on TikTok for Attack on Titan, Jujutsu Kaisen, and one other one that is called Bongo Stray Dogs. It's like her favorite, and she makes content, and she's got followers all over the world.
That's amazing.
Getting hundreds of thousands of likes on her little memes and stuff. And I'm just like, that's probably going to work out for her.
Yeah, like that's going to do better than going and playing hopscotch.
Yeah, and possibly going to school.
Yeah. So how'd you get your scholarship? Well, I did this amazing thesis in anime theory, and they accepted me to Harvard. Full ride.
Yeah, I don't even think she sees school as a path. She wants to live in Japan and start working with studios.
I mean, to be fair, I
animators.
think it's not going to be a path for too much longer.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, school's got a place, but it's like the human evolution, the education evolution here in at least the U.S. is getting outpaced by technology, and always has been, but it's really fast right now.
Yeah.
Really fast, because I'm talking to my kids about the sentiment at high school, and it's like everyone's using ChatGPT, everyone's using Brainly to do tests. It's like they're hackers. All these kids, they don't want to be doing bullshit. They want to go be playing. That's like most kids. Most profile of like a teen is like, how can I maximize my having fun and minimize my drudgery of doing rote memorization? Yeah. So
now they have like the technology to actually do it and be like, tell me not to. You don't even know how this all works.
Yeah, exactly. And that's happening rampantly. And I could be like, you should not be doing that. Instead, I'm like, let's do this, and then get out of school as fast as you can. Let's go work on a business. Let's go make an ice cream company. Let's do something with AI and your passion. Let's go do more. Let's go to Japan and get more content for your channel. Exactly.
Let's go travel and have some fun and make it worth it.
Yeah.
So wrapping up with 2 questions. The first one I always ask is, if you could have someone on the podcast and hear about their story or what they're up to, who do you think you'd want to hear from?
I like crazy ass women.
I also love crazy ass women.
I want batshit crazy women on this podcast.
Like as? Should we just get all the housewives in here? And
I don't know the girls, but I see, like the housewives, these like Mormon these guys, the ex-Mormon influencer girls that are just making hilarious content.
Yeah,
these girls are hilarious. They're using AI to like. Did you see the one of like even more extremely Mormon?
Yeah, the one that you posted?
Yes.
I was dying. Yes. Like, because I saw it on your story and I had to tap into it, and I was crying.
Go look at her. Something Carly. Yeah. I want her on this thing for sure. I want this other mom influencer, Jane. Just Jane on. She's good. I love mommy influencers, like the ones that are ironic and stuff. The ones that, if you're still like not ironic and you're still kind of just posting your fashion and thinking that it's a thing and that people aren't kind of cringing with you, then I don't want them, because they're not in the real world. I want the ones that produce cringe and love it.
Yeah, just lean into it.
Yeah, lean into it. It's like, I am here for the cringe. I am here to make you cringe. I love cringe artists. So
Cringe artist and dark humor is what gets me through social media.
So good. So get one of those batch of crazy women on here that make good content. I want to see that.
I can do that. And then lastly, if anybody wants to...
Oh, I know her name. So she's an artist.
Go on.
Her name is, I'll show her after, but she's just got tons of dreads. She just went to LA and played. She's got just cute little tats everywhere, some piercings, and she's writing songs, and she is about as free child hippie girl as you can get.
Love that.
And great voice, beautiful. I forget her name, but I want to see her on this. I want to hire her. I want her to be our local shaman. She is just,
we'll have her on the podcast, and we'll end with, will you be Scott Paul's shaman?
Yes,
but we'll do it like Bachelor style.
Yeah.
So she has to make a decision in the moment, accept the rose.
I'll love it. So let me know if you have any success on this. Guy's crazy. His name's Chris Crone. He's basically a scam artist that everyone in his comments calls him out for all his scams, but he just keeps making content and completely ignores all the people.
That's amazing.
Especially when they have wads of cash in their video.
Yeah.
You just got to love that stuff. He's got to know what he's doing.
Well, that's when you go to Amazon and you can literally search like stacks of fake stage prop cash, and it is that.
He's doing that. That's so good. So yeah, there's a few people in Utah and Salt Lake, and I know this one she's kind of traveling and touring now, but I know she's from Draper, so she's from this county. Yeah, that's about it. So that's my thought. I can't find her. She was first in my feed, and now she's gone.
Oh, she disappeared on you,
dude. I'm just like mesmerized by her just audacity. She's just being her.
I love that
in every way. Like no holding back. I mean, I like people that have given up on any of society's cancel mechanics. You know, like the canceling of people. I want to see how many times I can get canceled in my life.
See how many more times you can get kicked off LinkedIn.
Yeah, exactly. I can't. Yeah, that's hard. I can't get back on now at this point. But
I think that was the first time I ever saw something from you. As I was like scrolling LinkedIn like a loser, and I just saw this. It was this post like, for anybody who's curious, my dad is going to be at Silicon Slopes.
Oh, you saw my daughter's post.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, wait. And I kind of had to do a double take because I'm like, this is not normal. And then I like kind of like just named, she said, Google's like, oh, this is hilarious.
That guy's funny. That's my oldest. Yeah, she's done that. Well, can't find my hippie girl, but man,
we'll find her.
You'll get her on here.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for
No, and then lastly,
any crazy ass question, like last thing. I mean, I do want everyone here to convert to my new religion. And so maybe leave my email here so they can.
Yeah, I was going to say, if people want to reach out to you or find you. Yeah.
It's really easy. We don't have any tithing or taxes or anything. We just have a free health AI that allows you to live longer.
Yeah, it'll tell you every day how you can live longer and give you a number.
It should. I mean, hopefully it gets it right? Hopefully it doesn't start working against us. But the idea is that it's...
Keep chugging morphine until you can't move.
Yeah, no, it's going to do good. We're already using it. It's blowing our minds. We've already had literally lives saved and people improve health and get off oxygen. And I had a fishbone stuck in my mouth and I was using it. I'm like,
ChatGPT, how do I get this out?
Yeah. And it told me right in the dinner, like, don't put your finger down your throat and try to claw it out. That's how you'll get yourself cut. Just get some bread, chug it with water. And so I do that. I was up at Park City Sushi Restaurant. I'm like, oh, gone. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, ChatGPT again.
Yeah.
So you said your email, what is it they can reach you out at for their baptism?
Do my Scott at phi.health.
Scott at phi.health?
Yeah, phi. PHI.
Cool.
PHI. And this is our symbol, not our logo, our symbol.
The symbol.
Yeah, religions don't have logos, they have symbols.
Yes.
It's not a cross. It's not a, what are some other ones? It's not a star.
It's not
a circle and a square. We're trying to figure out the balance between the nature and technology. So that's the thing with all these AI. The answers are going to be a blend, we think, of nature and technology. We can't forget this earth that is producing all the things that we all survive on.
Oh yeah,
we're all organisms that need earth, and even the GPUs are going to need earth. So we gotta, I don't know. That's something we've discovered early on. Is that however we're going to figure out how to live longer, it's going to be a balance of nature and tech.
Oh, it'll be a harmony for sure.
Yeah. Harm made good.
Scott, so glad we could make it work.
Thanks for the wig.
Dude,
that was really fun
my
to look at you in
pleasure.
this wig. And it's just a different vibe, but I'm going to take it to my next. I'm going to go to a kava ceremony. And
yes, thank you.
I'm going to have this on. It's going to be great.
No, that makes me so happy.
Yeah.
Like, there's a wig kava sesh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Salt Lake City Podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, review, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends. And we'll catch you next week. We'll see you there.